Cool. Well,
We're here.
back back to another episode of Flow Talks.
Back to another episode.
4 years ago today, you weren't paralyzed. Well, I guess
Yeah.
let's first say what a life day is, because I didn't know what a life day was until you introduced me to the concept of it.
Yeah.
So tomorrow is your life day. What does life
Yeah.
day mean to you?
So Life Day is the day that a person could have died. And it's a day to celebrate essentially that one is alive after something extremely tragic has happened. And I remember when I explained to you what Life Day was, you're like, whoa, that's way better than a birthday.
Hmm.
And it kind of is, because it's kind of like a rebirth of this new era that you step into. And as we talked about earlier tonight, um, it's kind of like signals or starts like this new life. And although there's a lot of um, polarity in the day, there's also within that polarity, there's a lot to celebrate. And although it is for some of us the worst day, and I would like to think that probably for most of us, it's probably the worst day of our life. It's also a day that we get to celebrate because we're still here and get to live out the human experience. And I think for like my life day and what it means to me, it just shows that there was a time in my life where I could not be here. And, 4 years ago today, I was still here, but tomorrow it was questionable whether or not I was going to be able to live out the human experience. And so I think being able to recognize that and see that has allowed me personally to just really take advantage of my time thus far.
What were you doing at this time 4 years ago, the night before you got in the car accident?
I was studying for boards. I was actually at Outriggers with one of my really good friends, Courtney, and I had just taken my law exam for pharmacy school. And the following week, it was my board exam. And so I was studying for boards, and she's a nurse. And so she was like helping me like study and stuff. We were at Outriggers, and I had seen a bunch of my friends. It was actually also, it's my niece's birthday today. So I was at Outriggers with a bunch of people where I was studying, and then I had taken a tequila shot. I left and then went to my niece's birthday and like spent time with my family, hung out with them. We celebrated. My niece had turned 2 years old. So I was with everybody the night before. Yeah, that was basically what I had done the day before. Was just study and hang out with family and friends.
I'm curious just because of the way I feel when I think about the time before the accident. When you imagine that person that experienced that day, does it feel like a different person to you?
Yeah, in a sense. I mean, maybe not. Mm, like it doesn't in a way. Like the life that I was experiencing, entirely different, right? Like just entirely different. But in terms of how I move through things, how I think about things, the like physicality of things, granted, that's a lot different too. But outside of just what life was and what life is now, it seems if that wasn't taken into consideration, I would still think that I'm fairly pretty much the same person, just with a little bit more trauma and a little bit more wisdom now.
Yeah, a lot of trauma trying to cope with being disabled and having a whole different life. It's crazy how much emotional scarring there is with that. And you have to kind of heal the emotional side of things
Oh yeah.
almost as much as you do the physical side because it messes you up. It really, really, it messed me up at least. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but
Yeah, I mean, it messed me up too. I mean, I said things in the beginning that I never thought I'd ever, say out loud,
like what?
like not wanting to be here and not wanting to like live out this life anymore. And, a lot of like really, you know, dark things that again, I never ever saw myself expressing out loud. Now I'm not that I've accepted what's happened, but I'm just more like chill with what's happened. And in the beginning, I wasn't really chill with what happened, obviously. More so in the beginning, it was just a shock. Like the grief of life before was it stung that much more versus the grief now. Like it still lingers and it's still there, but it isn't as much of a sting because I've regained a lot of things back. So the things that I once grieved aren't as much of aren't as much of like at the forefront of my brain now as they were in the beginning. I mean, in the beginning, I didn't have any movement. I wasn't able to like stand up. I wasn't able to give people hugs standing up. I wasn't able to do, I had to ask everybody for everything. And those being as independent as I was compared to, post accident having to rely on everybody and be completely dependent, I think that was probably what I grieved the most was the autonomy. And now I have autonomy, and so being able to really reflect back and think like, whoa, like there was a point in time where like I had to rely on everybody for everything. It really just puts everything into perspective.
Do you have more grief around this time for the old you than around other times of the year? Like around.
Yeah. um I don't think so. I think grief comes in waves. I do think it's more of a time to like sit and reflect and like look at what the past 4 years has brought me, and also what I fought for in the last 4 years, as well as what has been lost, but also what I like refuse to lose. And in that reflection and just thinking about it, yeah, a lot of emotions come up. But again, I'm alive and I get to live out a lot of the things that I've always wanted to live out and do. And I think making sure that I just remind myself that I'm here and I get to do those things and laugh and see my parents laugh and see my friends laugh, and still I get to experience things, maybe not to the extent of what they could be, but again, in comparison to what? Because all I have is really life before to compare to, but I'm experiencing so many new things that who's to say that it would be what they used to be, or there's nothing to compare to because they're new experiences.
Mm, you have such an insane work ethic, like just such a crazy, crazy work ethic compared to most people. Me and Haley were talking about today how you're super intense and serious when you're training, and then like completely into as soon as you stop training, you just like love socializing, are always up
Yeah.
for a laugh, and it's really crazy how much work it's taking you to get to where you are today, and how you just haven't lost any of that what seems like hope and drive. Do you Is it harder to muster the energy to keep working towards healing now than it was in the beginning? Because I find it more difficult now than I did in the beginning. Like I've lost
Lost the umph.
tenacity. Yeah, a little bit. Like I
Yeah.
still, but I find it more difficult now to, I don't know, have the hard grip on wanting to heal so badly.
Yeah. Well, I think what comes to mind is like having more grace with yourself in terms of like the pursuit of the healing. I think that that's been actually challenging for me because I very much would still be going to court 4 days a week if I was able to. But then, life continues carrying on. And so you have to delegate how much time you put into certain things. And it was a big challenge for me to take a step back from going to rehab all the time. And because of wanting, like, still being in the pursuit of healing and still being on the mission, I'm very much still in the pursuit of healing and in the pursuit of the mission. But I've allowed myself to take a step back and kind of just be okay with what it is that I'm doing and not putting as much pressure on myself to not overextend myself. But I've worked really hard in the 3.5 years before taking a step back to where I felt like I like deserve to take a step back.
Well, we should, because I'm on these spinal cord injury groups on Reddit, and there's tons of people talking about how to make a living after spinal cord injury. So we
Yeah.
should take a minute, because we haven't talked about it on the podcast, but talk about what you did when you took that step back, about your coaching business and what you've
Yeah.
managed to build and what's changed in the last month or so, whatever, you're
Yeah.
willing to share, because I think that's really cool and super inspirational, because you didn't take a step back from life, you just took a step back from healing and put all that energy into building a badass coaching business where you're helping people regain their
Thanks.
fitness and health.
Yeah. So in the beginning, I'm very optimistic. I'm very much like I'm very aspirational in the things that I choose to pursue and do. And, there's never too much on one's plate to where you can't like figure it out. Hence why like my whole entire brand is flow state and figuring life out. I feel like we can definitely always figure something out regardless of how much is on our plate. But with that being said, it does end up taking um, energy from other like places, or you can't really delegate all, like you can't be 100% in one thing and 100% in another thing. Energy has to get allocated in different places. So in the beginning, recovery was one, like the 100%. It was actually like 200%. And in my head, I thought, okay, like I could start building a business now and at least get things like moving and going. Again, optimistic, because I didn't realize how much recovery was actually taking from me and my time and all of my energy. And so in the beginning, it was really hard to try to delegate energy towards that, to where, I spent thousands of dollars on mentorships and wasn't able to like be actively in the mentorships because of how much I was in recovery, all of these things. And eventually uh I I realized, like, okay, like if I, where I'm somebody that goes all in on the things that I do, and I said, okay, well, I've gone all in on my recovery for 3.5 years. I mean, showing up every, like barely missing anything, showing up and giving 150% every single time. And then I realized, okay, well, if I want to actually create something sustainable and something that I can live with or live off of, I have to now pull from that energy source and take a step back from rehab. And as soon as I did that, it took a while. I mean, I've probably stepped back like now maybe 8 months, maybe 6 months. But I've now had more time to delegate towards like building flow state and building like this online coaching business, to where like I actually have 10 clients now, whereas I was struggling to just get like one or two clients before. And that makes me realize, like, okay, I just saw something today actually that says like life is in seasons. And when you choose to see that life is in seasons, then things are a lot easier. And sometimes the season is like a season of like family time. Sometimes the season is like a season of recovery. Sometimes it's a season of training really hard. And when we start seeing that things can be in seasons, then we can actually start delegating our energy and allocating it differently, to where we're not overextending ourselves and thinking that like this is a season of family, recovery, training, all of these things, where it's just kind of impossible to do that. And as soon as I finally kind of made like the switch, things kind of just started like flowing a lot better. And even Mallory and I talked about how potentially taking a step back would actually help recovery, because I'm actually putting time and energy into things that are like filling my cup up more. Not that recovery ever was draining my cup, but it does get like, your body does get tired, your mental energy does get tired, because you're not just physically exerting yourself in recovery, you're also mentally getting stimulated at the same time, and that takes away to the double the energy versus just being like physical. And because of that, I've seen, like in the last maybe 3 months, like recovery has expedited like significantly, and to
Yeah, it's
where
been crazy to watch. I mean, when you were standing up in the
thanks.
gym the other day, that was wild, going from the
Yeah.
ground
Yeah, that
to
was my first
standing.
time. I had only done that like two times prior on two separate occasions, and then like that day I did it like four or five times like in a row. And I think having the mental energy to put forth, like there's just more mental energy because it's just not being used as much towards towards recovery and towards the, the hardship of what recovery brings.
Also, with the autonomy thing, the security and peace of mind of knowing that you're building income and building a career and a way to support and sustain yourself has to be immeasurable. And for me, I mean, that's the thing that causes me by and far the most stress, takes me out of the moment when I'm doing things to recover, like that I should be 100% in, focusing on the connection in my body and what's going on,
Mm.
but I'm half in fear. And what is it called? Fear, when you have like a life or death response.
Fight,
Fight or flight. I
fight or
don't know
flight.
why I
No.
put fear in there and I couldn't get over it. But fight or flight response, where I'm just so worried about my finances and how to have sustainable income, that I'm not 100% in the moment, giving everything to recovery. So that has to be just a massive relief.
Yeah, it is, because that was and is stability in my life financially is extremely important to be at ease and essentially in flow state. Like that's how I look at it, because you just don't want to be worrying about that.
It's impossible to overcome. It's
Yeah,
just, it puts endless dates in front of your mind of like when bills need to be paid, when financial things need to happen. If you don't have financial security, it's just impossible to be in a flow state. I
it
mean,
is.
maybe intermittently you can get in, but it's going to interrupt that so often.
Yeah, and or you just like put it to the wayside and be like, huh, I'm fine, I'm fine, and then it creeps up, and you're like, not fine.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
major thing post spinal cord injury. I mean, it's really, really difficult. I am the first to admit that I can't find a stable source of income that doesn't just take so much from me that it's impossible to justify. Like insurance sales
yeah,
was taking so much away from me and causing such incredible amounts of pain and stress, and it was just wrong. It's morally wrong in every single way. You have to force yourself to lie to be. I mean, it's, or even if you don't lie, you just have to omit information
yeah.
to get people to buy these products, and it just was taking so much from me. I couldn't sustain it, and the financial stress eats away at recovery. I mean, it just totally wrecks it.
Yeah, and then it also, which like outside of the literal way of eating recovery, it just like it mentally bogs you down to where you can't focus on anything for your nervous system to be in a parasympathetic state to receive healing.
Hmm.
And I think that a lot of people like forget about that. Like your system needs to be in a state of receiving to be able to heal.
Yeah, you got to get
Otherwise,
out of survival mode, and it's
yeah,
really hard. I mean, most people post severe disability are kind of trapped in a survival state unless you're blessed with
yeah,
people who are willing to just care for you, if they have the ability and means to care for you indefinitely and are willing to do so, which is just a very few.
right.
There's
It
not
is
very
far
many
and few,
people.
right? Yeah, and that makes it extremely difficult. And at the same time, if you're able to and are willing, why social media is so great, to be able to share your story, talk about what it is you're going through, talk about the struggles, talk about, be vulnerable, share the shitty parts, because somebody out there is either going to relate to you or be able to help you and wants to help. Um, and whether or not people believe that, there are people out there that are more than happy to, to do that, but you have to put yourself out there in order to potentially receive that.
It's still the most difficult thing in the world for me.
Yeah.
I hate asking for help so much, like more than anything else.
Yeah.
It's just brutal.
Yeah. Well, I know that we've talked about how the being able to ask for help gives other people the opportunity to help, and people inherently, I would like to believe that inherently we like to help, right? And although spinal cord injury has shown me that some people are just not inherently wanting to help, but overall, I do think that that is something that we like to do and want to do. And so when you give people an opportunity to do so, it allows them to actually like see you through, or, fulfill whatever is in their heart that needs fulfilling.
That's a really good way of looking at it. It's it's still so difficult. It's just so
Yeah.
difficult to admit that you need the help.
Yeah. Well, I think also, like, being a guy, I think it's also, especially somebody that's taking care of a lot of people in their life, and then all of a sudden you need to ask somebody to take care of you. I can imagine that that's really difficult too.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't claim to have taken care of a ton of people in my life, but I,
So we're just have our ego in the way then.
yeah, it's just you want to be self-sufficient. You
Yeah.
want to be. You
Yeah.
don't want. I feel. I was thinking about this. I ate a weed gummy the other night and listened to this hypnosis on YouTube. It's called Michael Seeley. He's like a
Hmm.
hypnotherapist guy. And I don't even know what the hypnosis was about. It was about like gratefulness or healing or
Really.
something. but for some reason, it I actually got hypnotized fully.
Really?
Yeah, I guess so, because I like kind of woke up like 45 minutes later. I was wide awake, but I was so out of it. And I was like imagining like a person inside me, like digging like a painful spot out of my chest,
Aw.
like cutting meat out of my chest. And it was this guilt and shame thing where I had been programmed from such a young age unintentionally by my parents to like be really guilty and shameful for who I was just because I was so high energy and so intense and just a
Yeah.
crazy child. They just constantly tried to subdue my natural disposition.
Mm.
And I realized, like, oh, I'm having guilt and shame, or not, I'm finding a way to be guilty and shameful about like every thought and thing that I have because it was like the lens in which I was programmed to see things. So I think that on a personal level is just a big problem for me asking for help is I just have this preset guilt, shame for everything, not just for asking for help, just in general in life.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that's really difficult, like seeing life through that lens.
It's the lowest frequency you can possibly be,
Right.
being ashamed of who you are and guilty for existence. And I think a lot of people are that way. There's a lot of religious guilt and shame. It's my biggest problem with the Catholicism is it's so guilt driven, guilt and shame driven. It can't be good for
Right.
your psychology to have all of this shame about thoughts and things that are kind of beyond your control.
Yeah, and it's for on us to like not attach to those shameful thoughts that come through. And they just pass through and you just observe them and you're just like, "Whoa, where did that thought come from?" Versus allowing it to, versus attaching to it and letting it potentially run you through the cycle of the guilt and the shame. It's just like that could be a shameful thought, but I'm not going to let that, I'm not going to let it into my psyche and let it actually disrupt my regulation. It really is what it is.
What I realized I was doing is with every scenario that could, every potentiality that could happen, I would extrapolate out to like the one person it could hurt, the one person who would think negatively of it, with everything. I mean, with any event or potential event that might happen in life, I was just finding the people or person that it would negatively impact and like focusing on that. It was really weird. I'd never fully understood how badly I was doing that until I ate that I just ate an indica weed gummy because I wanted to sleep through the pain the other night, and it total opposite effect. It was not restful whatsoever.
It's like all
But
these life lessons just kind of start coming up.
weed does not jive with my system as far as like a relaxing thing to
Yeah.
do. It's just
Yeah.
always
Very stimulating.
stimulating and like deeply introspective. Always positive in the end, but it's like a challenge
It's like
in some way or another every time. Like, can't I
like
just get the
an obstacle to get to the peace.
yeah, I have to go through a fucking full-blown obstacle course war with myself to like emerge into that peaceful, tranquil state, at which point I just fall asleep and don't get to enjoy it.
And then that's the whole point.
Yeah. But what are the four, like reflecting on the last 4 years, what are the most positive things about being spinal cord injured?
The first one that comes to mind is just the people that you meet. Like I don't think I would have ever met you I not been injured. Had you not been injured, I don't think I would have met any of the people at Core. And you're in May. It'll be 4 years going into Core, and if we think about relationships in high school and relationships in college and all of these things, that's basically over a 4 year span. And so I look at my relationships with the people at Core, and it's like we've kind of went through 4 years, like they're not formative years, but in a sense it is formative years because of how much trauma was in those 4 years. And so the bonds that we have now, that they're trauma bonds, but they are very special. They're just very special because not everybody gets to see what they've seen. and to be able to experience and move through the difficulties and the challenges, but also the rewards and the wins and the celebrations, it makes for a very tight knit connection that I'm extremely grateful for. And I think if there was one thing that I feel like is a positive from spinal cord injury, it would be the people that you meet.
Has to be said as well, core is just like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they just create amazing people or they're just super good at attracting them, but it's like a petri dish of just
Yeah, it really is.
awesome people. I mean, just
Yeah.
truly selfless, kind,
And just always
funny.
good energy too.
It's got such good energy. I've not ever personally been to a workplace where everyone just has such high vibes all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I know. And it's very welcoming, and they're just very much on the same page as you, and they want to see you be happy, and they'll do whatever they can to make sure that you reach your goals, or that, that they know that they're there for you. And I think that's super important.
Whatever they're doing as far as hiring people, they're doing something incredible because how many places that you go to does everyone seem to stay and also seem to love their job as much as they do
Yeah,
at Core? It's a really special place.
it really is.
They've created something super remarkable.
Yeah, and I think that's why there's only one, because I think it's just extremely difficult for them to replicate.
Hmm.
Because again, you have to rely on people.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you'd literally have to find another Mallory, and I don't think
yeah,
there's very many Mallorys in the world.
yeah, yeah, it's true. Which is a really special thing. And how long have you been going?
3 years now,
Oh,
almost exactly 3 years. I started, I think, like January 20, like sometime in the end of January in 2022. No, 2023.
oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I started in May of 22, and so that would make sense, that because that's how where we met, was at Core.
Yeah, I think we went at opposing times for a while, but everyone
Yeah,
told
everyone is
me,
like, you guys have to meet.
yeah.
They're like, you guys are the same exact person. You have to meet.
I know, that's what everyone said right away. They were like, "You're gonna definitely end up being friends with this
Yeah, yeah,
chick that comes at a different time than you, Elena."
yeah. That's the same thing about you, except obviously you're not a chick. You're like, yeah, you have to meet Bridger. It's this guy, and you guys are like exactly the same human, exactly the same stories.
I know, it's pretty cool. I definitely have massive appreciation for the people that have come into my life through spinal cord injury adjacent things. Like Chris is a great
Yeah,
example. He's one of the best humans I've ever, just hands down ever. I've never met someone who cannot help but be serving other people.
all the time.
He can't help it. It's just
Yeah,
it's his knob was just turned to like full service.
yeah, all the time. Like, and no matter what, it's like service and fun all the time.
Yeah,
We love Chris.
and he can't even he can't even stick with strictly fun. He's just helping people no matter what he's
Yeah,
doing, no matter where. He cannot see a person that might need help and pass it up.
yeah,
It's remarkable. It's really, really cool.
it is, and it's really nice to see, because again, there's not a lot of Chris's in the world.
He must be experiencing like a level of peace that very few people, even if he's not aware of it, he has to be experiencing like such tremendous peace because he's just helping other humans 24/7, like 365 days a year. It's wild.
Yeah, all the time. I love it. He's awesome. Shout out, Chris. Thanks for being you.
Yeah, shout out Chris. I can't wait to we have to have him on the podcast.
We do.
Yeah,
He's
as
got
soon as we
stories. He's
figure
got,
out this fucking sound
yeah,
system
I know,
thing.
I know. He's got stories. He'll be fun to have on
Mm.
for sure. What about you? What's been your like one of the best things in recovery for you?
I mean, for me, it was finally unearthing everything inside myself and being forced to heal completely on an emotional, spiritual level because I wanted to heal physically.
Yeah.
And I tried to just heal physically for a long time, thinking that I'll heal physically and then I'll get to all the emotional, mental, spiritual stuff but it didn't work. I had to do this first, and I don't know if I ever would have gotten to it otherwise. I don't know if I ever would have addressed things like living your entire life through a lens of guilt and shame, which was immeasurably more painful than anything caused by spinal cord injury. It's a constant just state of low level suffering, which is far worse than intermittent periods of tons of suffering.
Right. Do you think that having everything stripped away, meaning like no more distractions physically, no more distractions with work, just no more distractions in general, allowed all of that to be unraveled?
For sure, it was just such an incredible amount of time spent alone,
Yeah.
questioning things, so much time to think,
Yeah.
so much time to ruminate on things, and just it brought everything into very clear focus eventually of
Yeah.
like what is the problem? What is causing these cyclical what's causing these cycles where I would have all this energy and drive for something and then lose the ambition, lose the drive for it, and want to change completely. And it was because I didn't know myself. I literally didn't know who I was. I had fractured myself into so many different pieces that I had to sit down and do the work to piece myself back together. And I'm incredibly great. I don't think I ever would have done that. I think I would have just had access to distractions and experiences and intense, yeah, just intense experiences where I would have been able to stay distracted.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel that because I also think that had the accident not happened for me, that I would have continued doing the things that I was doing before. And not that I was doing anything bad before, but I remember talking with one of my coaches, my mental health coach in the beginning, which I hired her around like the 1 year mark. And she had even said, she felt like life before, although I was really enjoying it and having a lot of fun and, experiencing all that I was, that there wasn't much purpose behind what it was that I was doing. And that ate me up. And as I reflect back on times that I was, by myself and like in reflection and writing, and if I look at old journal entries, I very much like that was a very accurate statement that she had said, because I didn't really feel purpose driven. I felt like I was just chasing the money, and I was chasing safety by going into pharmacy, and I wasn't actually taking the risk of doing what it was that I really wanted to do, which was like be in the fitness world, like potentially go be an influencer or and be a coach, and all of these things where, and me and my friends joke about all the time, had the accident not happened, I would have continued doing what I was doing, but like nothing else was going to stop me in my tracks unless what had happened happened.
Hmm.
And that's a hard pill to swallow. It's like, whoa, I'm that stubborn.
Yeah.
No, it's like, fuck.
It really is a gift, though. Most
Yeah,
people, the Henry David Thoreau quote lives rent free in my mind of most men live lives of quiet desperation.
yeah,
And I certainly would have been one of those had I not had such a hard stop.
yeah. A hard stop and a redirection.
Do you have, like, can you define succinctly your purpose now, do you think? Like, is it easy to.
Yeah, I think I was supposed to impact and like influence people in
Mm,
a very positive way. And I don't know if that comes off arrogant or not, but I just think that my whole entire life, ever since I remember being in elementary school, and like, I mean, even in elementary school, I was very athletic, and I had friends asking me to like do things for them to help them also become athletic. And it just, you, as you reflect back on, childhood years up and, into middle school and high school, and then post that, you start kind of like seeing where the dots connect to where maybe you weren't listening to the signs or listening to the whispers. And then all of a sudden, since you're not listening to the whispers, you're gonna hear the scream, and the scream was the accident for me. And at the same time, because you social media, you see all of these people who have these crazy stories that are extremely successful, and they have impact, they have influence, and it's like, well, I don't even have a story for anybody to like take my word and actually like use it in their life. Well, then the accident happened, and it's like, whoa, careful what you fucking wish for, because
Mhm.
now you have now you have the story, and now people are actually looking at you and respecting what it is that you have to say. Not that they didn't before, but not that now there's more authority behind what it is that you were preaching.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's so much authority behind what you're doing because you literally did the impossible. I mean, you did something
I don't
almost.
even realize it. I'm still like, who am I? Like, who let me?
And I don't think it's arrogant at all to think that you do have an inherently positive message and personality, on and off the screen. You're positive and driven 24/7 all the time, even when you're down, you're recycling positive quotes and stuff in your mind and trying to get the drive back. So, I think that's exceedingly rare. And I listen to this. I'm obsessed with like these AI versions of like great people that
Mhm.
people are making, where they are obviously plugging in a prompt and being like, teach this lesson through Carl Jung or Alan Watts or whoever's voice, or vision. And I listened to one the other day about how every person should believe that the life they're living, they're like chosen for it. They should believe beyond any shadow of doubt that God ordained them to do something, whatever that something is for you individually. But if you don't have the belief that it was ordained by something greater than yourself, you're just never going to have the capacity to do the impossible, to fulfill. If you have a really big dream, it has to be part of the equation that you think or believe it's meant to be.
Yeah, I love that. I believe that that is a massive driver in what it is that I'm doing. Not to say that, I mean, I go back and forth between it was going to happen regardless and it just happening out of nowhere. And me and my sister talk about it too, of the potential, whether it was going to happen that day or it was going to happen some other time. Regardless, at some point it was going to happen, and by that I obviously mean the accident. But I do think that, and like we talked about earlier, you know, not to say that God handpicks certain people to carry out certain messages, but sometimes it's nice to like chase that perspective, because it gives purpose to the suffering that you're going through, especially if you decide to take on the responsibility to carry out what message he's like put on your heart to share. Again, if you're open to receiving that message and actually taking on the responsibility to carry out what that message is, which then again gives purpose to the suffering that you go through, because otherwise you're just suffering to suffer, and like that kind of sucks. At least put some meaning behind the suffering, and maybe bring some other people out of their suffering along with you, or prevent people from going into certain sufferings because you've already gone through it and you can share what you've learned, so that other people don't have to necessarily go through as hard of a hardship as you do.
For sure, I agree completely. I think that whether or not you are 100% sure that it's real, I think you should make as much of an attempt as you possibly can to listen to the universe, and whatever you get back, just act on it. Just act on whatever God will meet you wherever you're at. And I have my beliefs on what and who God is, but I don't think that you have to onboard anyone else's beliefs. I just think you have to trust, and you'll be led in the right direction. But if you're not asking what the events in your life mean, then it is almost certainly going to just lead to confusion and suffering. I mean,
Yeah, and not purposeful suffering, like just
mhm.
suffering to suffer, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But you have this one human life, And I think something that maybe not a lot of us like to admit, but I think we do like to find purpose behind things. One of those things is the suffering that you go through. So to sit back and ask questions about it, I think is very important for us to do, because again, the meaning behind the suffering makes it the suffering that much more purposeful.
Yeah, it makes it better in every single way. So that's my measure of whether or not it's the right thing to do. Is does it make every single second of my life better to believe that it has purpose behind it? Absolutely. It just makes it. I've never
It
once
does.
wavered in the fact that I thought there was purpose behind this.
Yeah,
Ever. I had all sorts of different beliefs and different perspectives about what God was, the universe, spirituality, about why it happened, but I never once wavered in thinking there has to be a reason this happened. I have to find a reason to make meaning out of this, otherwise,
yeah,
it's just going to tear me apart.
yeah. I couldn't agree anymore. I also, something that I continuously remind myself, even still now, when things get extremely overwhelming, or just, feelings come up that you don't necessarily want to deal with, or like grief comes up that you don't necessarily want to deal with, it's always, this can't be for nothing. And that statement has pushed me through many, many hard times, because yeah, it can't be for nothing, because why are you going through it?
I've also searched out every other type of experience, like peak experience for happiness, and they all just run dry really quickly besides serving other people. The only thing that ever gives you lasting meaning, joy, and happiness is when you're able to help other people out. Everything else,
Absolutely.
I've had every peak drug experience, sexual experience, traveled all around the world, done nearly everything that I wanted, that I thought would make me happy in life. I've been to all the countries I thought would make me happy. I saw all of the sites that I thought would make me happy, dove, on the Great Barrier Reef, and
Yeah.
ticked off a bunch of bucket list items. And they were all great, but they were so short lived. But the stuff that sticks with me and gives me self worth is always the selfless moments and the moments where I was able to like put myself aside and do the right thing for another person. It's all there
Yeah,
is.
it's insurmountable. It's, again, like sometimes when people message me on socials, and especially in the beginning when I was sharing, like, I mean, I still share extremely vulnerable parts, but like in the beginning when it was still super fresh, and like, you're really putting yourself out there because you haven't gone through it yet, and you're just like exposing oneself and the hardship. I had many people reach out to me and express how much what it was that I was posting was helping them. And even just one person, if one person like messages you, or whoever, saying that I really needed to hear that because I'm going through XYZ, and because you are being vulnerable and you're sharing, it's really helping me, and that makes your suffer it makes our suffering that much more like purposeful in that itself, because wow, what I'm doing and what I'm sharing and what I'm choosing to be vulnerable with is now allowing somebody else to work through the things that they're going through. And there's nothing more rewarding in being able to be of service and helping somebody in their journey of healing, or in their journey of hardship, or whatever journey it is that they're going through, to be able to help them get to the other side of it. Because at the end of the day, yeah, we all like to be of service. Well, maybe not all of us, but the majority of us like to be of service. And I think that that's like a biological thing as humans for us to want to be a part of and want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be of service before, but I was so consumed by my own personal
Yeah.
pain that it was getting in the way of being. I think that narcissism is a result of like an inflected energy curve where everything's going into your body backwards, and everything you should be grateful for, happy for, joyous, anything that should make you feel love is being filtered down to fear, guilt, shame, and anger. And it really decreases your ability to be of service in the
Yeah.
world. And that was a huge problem for me. I just wasn't of as much service as I would like to be because I was so focused on just trying to escape the pain I was in. I was just in so much pain. All I could think about was trying to escape. I couldn't think about
Yeah.
I, service would be a momentary escape from it, but until you integrate all that fucked up shit inside you and those messed up beliefs, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's almost as if the service that one does who experiences those tendencies or is the narcissist, it's almost as if there's an ulterior motive as to what service you are bringing to the table,
Yeah,
because you're trying to like just help yourself, make yourself feel good.
in the end, you're trying to just alleviate
Yeah,
pain, even when you're trying to help someone else in some backwards, fucked up way, like layers deep that you don't even know is happening in
right.
the background. You're actually just trying to alleviate your own pain. Like you want to make another person happy because then you think that you'll get love or that you'll deserve love. And that was the lens that I operated through for decades unknowingly because I was just in so much pain. I couldn't, if you, no matter what you do, you're just programmed to not be in pain. You're programmed to escape it. I was genuinely a narcissist.
But
Like,
now we're a recovered narcissist, so we're good.
and I think that it's actually one of the most difficult things to recover from because when you are a narcissist, it's impossible to see it because by
For sure.
recognizing it, it causes so much pain. It's like a self reinforcing sickness, like personality disorder. You really can't admit you're a narcissist without it imploding your entire world. You have to be
Because
willing.
your whole reality shatters.
Your whole reality
Like
shatters.
everything that
Everything
you believe, everything that you tell other people to believe, it just all just shatters.
it evaporates in an instant once you admit that it's the reality you're seeing things from because everything's backwards. The nature of narcissism is all energies going in you in complete reverse. So your whole worldview is in reverse. It's really hard to explain, but anything that someone does for you that's supposed to make you feel good about yourself makes you feel shame or guilt. And it's such an intense amount of pain that worldview causes. Everything that you're doing is to project this image of yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing that narcissists are doing. They're just living completely inside the persona and the ego of the persona rather than
Spirit.
in the self and in their spirit because it's just so damaged and fucked up.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of energy to continue or to be just living in the persona.
But it's the nature of human existence. You don't know any different until you
It's
know
true.
different.
It's true. But you have to also be open to seeing the difference.
I know, and I have become way because as someone who was like somewhere on the narcissistic spectrum, I don't think I was like a full blown narcissistic personality disorder where because I felt the pain I caused immensely anytime I caused pain. I was just so focused on my own pain that it would be just I would cause pain. It would just make me feel more guilt, more shame, more self hatred, and
Hmm.
then that would lead me to do other things. But as someone who was that, it's become really recognizable to me when other people have
Yeah.
narcissistic tendencies, and there's no way to confront it. You cannot talk. It's the one
Mhm. I
someone
know.
will
It's crazy.
admit they have anxiety. They'll be, or they, if they have, even if they have antisocial personality disorder or bipolar, in moments of clarity, they'll be able to recognize that in themselves. But the narcissist can't.
Mm-mm.
It's weird,
Yeah, again, it's like this false reality or this veil that they just can't see what the truth of it is.
and they're chronic explainers. They just want to explain and explain and explain
Yeah,
how their
or
behavior is justified and how you need to see it the way that they see it. It kills them when you don't see the world the way that they see the world. because
Yeah,
they
or
just,
their reality, the way that you see their reality, like actually what their reality is versus what reality actually is.
yeah, they want you to see their reality so much because they're so convinced their reality is real.
Yeah, they've brainwashed themselves so hard that that's the belief of what it is that they're going through.
Yeah, it's a tough one
I
to
can't
confront.
imagine. Yeah, it is. It really is.
I never would have been able to like confront it or face it or figure it out if I hadn't just apocalyptically decimated my psyche with psychedelic drugs to where it just fucking turned everything to plastic, basically plasticized my brain. And then on top of that, plasticized my brain every single day for months after that with like deep, insane breath work. Like I
Yeah.
don't, if I wasn't shutting off that prefrontal cortex every day, I know you're not supposed to do it every day, but I did it anyways. Like shut off that prefrontal cortex over and over again with these long breathwork sessions. That was the only way I was able to get into that limbic system and see it because I couldn't in the prefrontal cortex. I couldn't see it because I thought that I was doing things for other people. Because in my mind and in my explaining thinking mind, I was doing it for,
Yeah, like you brainwashed yourself.
yeah, that I was doing it for them, but really I was doing it so I was worthy of their love. And it's just fucked.
Yeah. And yeah, it is. Well, I'm glad that we've gotten to the other side of it and that you're now a recovered narcissist and
Yeah.
we're now
Mm.
able to sit and reflect and talk about it.
I'm mostly recovered narcissist. I'm sure
Mostly.
I'm fucking up
I think
somewhere.
most of us have
Mm.
narcissistic tendencies, though, regardless if we want to admit it or not. But I do believe that a lot of us do have narcissistic tendencies. It's just whether or not you attach to those tendencies and let it ruin or not. Well, yeah, it will ruin your life, but if you want to let it run your life.
It's on a spectrum, and it's really the spectrum of narcissism is pain oriented. The more pain someone's been in, the oftentimes the more false realities they've had to layer on.
That's true.
And for people who end up far down on the narcissistic spectrum, they typically had to layer on realities about their persona because they thought they were fundamentally flawed in some way.
Mm.
They, something happened in their childhood where they believed beyond any shadow of a doubt that there was something wrong with their core fundamental self. And so those layers that they put on top of that are can get really thick.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about in the sense of, because things happen to people all the time and some of those people turn into narcissists and other people don't, and so then it's the question comes up of how does the narcissist alchemize the pain into the into that way of life versus somebody who alchemizes the pain and does a total different direction with it.
It's hard to say. It's a really good
Yeah.
question though, because it's so hard to say what formula of like did the person who didn't alchemize it into narcissism, did they see an example of someone
Yeah.
who should, did they have one person in their life come in, because that's a story you often hear from people who were managed to turn an incredible amount of pain into positive after positive after positive. They had one person come in and shown worth into them at some point. They met a mentor, a coach, a lover. There was just a human came into their life and often derails that. I think that's one defining factor is if someone can pierce through and show you your worth at some point, it almost always if you can receive it from them.
Yeah, yeah, that was the next question would be like how do you know, or like what if you're just not in a place of receiving and you do have all these people that are like telling you your worth and then you're just still just in the vicious cycle of not like the vicious cycle of your reality.
I don't
Yeah.
know. That was me. I had an immense number of people pour love
Yeah.
and worth into me, and I didn't believe a single person until I was over 30 years old. I literally couldn't believe it was. I couldn't believe it. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't believe that someone.
Do you think that post accident, oh man, I just had the question. Let me think real quick. So post accident for you, how old were you when it happened?
27.
Oh, okay. So it still took a hot minute after when you came to that realization. Like 3 years? You said after 30?
Yeah, I was in so much guilt and shame about the burden I was putting on people, about not being able to be financially independent. I was just right into a guilt shame cycle about.
Do you think at some point in time, like you let your guard down to be able to like see like your worthiness to then help with that exploration of your realizations?
I mean, no, I was just forced down by a massive amount of ketamine and that one girl just loving me
Oh, that's
like
right.
incredibly
Oh,
and
that's
totally.
right.
Nothing else. That
Yeah.
was the first time in my entire life where I realized that other people love me the way that I love them.
Aw.
And I
Yeah, I remember that
I
now.
didn't know that I didn't know that I didn't know that. Like I hadn't I was so sealed off. There was this part of me that was so protected. It had such a barrier.
Hmm.
Nothing could get through it. Like nothing could pierce through to my true self
Except ketamine.
except for ketamine. Yeah. No, I never none of this ever would have occurred without
Yeah.
like taking abusive levels of ketamine, like grams of ketamine.
Yeah. Yeah, but hey, I got you to the other side though. So purpose.
Yeah,
Everything has a purpose.
I know. What do you think? What, like reflecting back on the 4 years for someone that's either recently been injured or is, pretty new, or it doesn't really matter actually, even someone who's just in a hard part of the post paralysis or post major disability journey, what's one thing you would have done differently?
Hmm.
Or one thing that you just really wish you knew at the beginning?
I think I would have documented more. I mean, I
Mm,
did document a lot, but I would have documented more.
touche. I wish I'd documented so much more.
Yeah. And like, thankfully, I had people documenting for me because I was not doing it. Well, I didn't really have much use of my hand. So, like, that was probably a reason in the beginning that I wasn't able to, like, my right hand. But I would have done way more documenting and I would have tried to really highlight or talk about the things that were extremely apparent in the beginning because now, especially in the hospital, like I don't really remember the hospital. I mean, I had friends visit me and then I forgot that they visited me because I was just so fucked up. So I wish that I had more documentation in that regard. But in terms of everything else, I mean, my support system was so amazing that I didn't really have to, bear a lot of the weight that was on me and my family, my friends, all of these things that, tend to become extremely heavy. I didn't have to bear all of it. And that obviously played a big factor in how I, moved through things in the beginning.
Oh, I had a really good question. I just blanked. Um, oh man, now I'm not going to be able to even move on until I think of this.
We're talking about something that I would have done differently. I was talking about how documenting was what I would do differently.
I know I can't.
Hmm.
We'll just. It'll come as soon as I stop
Yeah,
thinking
stop
about it.
thinking about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had documented my entire journey way more in detail. I wish so badly I just had, just for my own memory's sake,
Yeah.
just had way more, even pre paralysis. I just wish I had everything on camera
Yeah.
because it's fun.
Yeah, some of my friends, not that they would get annoyed that I would take a lot of pictures and videos, but some of them would be, they they would have feel a type of way, but I'm so glad that like I took as much videos as I did, especially of like the really, the things for the archives, right? Like the things that you don't show everybody else. Like I'm very glad that I am was somebody that, did that because I look back at all those pictures a lot and those videos because again, it was a very fun time in my life. My early 20s was like hands down, obviously, thus far, the best time of my life. And I do believe that, as I approach 30 this year, my early 30s will be just like that, but obviously with more trauma, more wisdom. But have being able to like look back and see that, especially as we get like old and gray, and if we have kids and stuff, you want to be able to show them and say like, this is how I actually was, and maybe you don't believe me, but like I was definitely crazy and wild, but I still had my responsibilities in order, and I did XYZ. And so for people out there that are afraid of pictures, I encourage them to take them because it's really important. And I remember looking at the beginning, like after the accident. I mean, I was a totally different person to me. To other people, I was the same, but like I looked at myself and I didn't even recognize who I was because I had to chop my hair off, and I was growing it out finally, and it was finally like it was like below my shoulders, like all curly, and then I had to chop it all off because they had to like glue my head back together from all of the lacerations that I had. I mean, my sister joke, she's like, "Yeah, they probably put all the glue in your hair because they're probably like, yeah, she's probably not gonna live, so we just gotta like, you know." So we joke about it, but then when I had to go cut out all the dreads, and I had like this curly bob, I was like, "Fuck, like this is not who I am." And then looking back at old pictures, I really question. I'm like, "That's how I looked. Like that's me." And everybody's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, that's crazy. Like that's how I look. Cause I look like a totally different human, like a completely foreign stranger to who I was post accident. So I think having pictures, not to say that, you know, prepare for the day you get paralyzed, but like, like I think it's important to definitely take the pictures, take the videos, and, not obviously living in your phone, but to have them so that you can look back on one day and, see all of what you have done and what you're doing now, and just things to reflect back on.
To play the devil's advocate, there's a lot of things I'm glad aren't on video from post and pre paralysis. There's a
Yeah.
lot of my life that I'm super grateful I lived in an era where it wasn't common to document
Yeah.
everything because
Yeah. Well, yeah, but then, it would like there are some things where it's like, I kind of wish that I like could relive that, and the only way that you can relive it is through videos and pictures and things like that. But even now, like I'll take well, what's it called, a disposable camera, and like on fun trips and stuff, and it's a whatever happens on there, and it's not anywhere else except when you go and you
yeah,
get it
disposable
developed and
cameras
stuff.
are fun.
Yeah, and then you have some evidence.
I love disposable cameras because it takes me a really long time to actually go get them developed. Like I'll just take the
Yeah.
pictures and I'll just set them on a shelf and I'll find it like 2 years later.
And you're like, "Oh, yeah," and then you're like, "Oh, shit." And you get to relive the memory.
Yeah, that's super fun. I love disposable
Yeah.
cameras.
Yeah, me too. I
Oh,
have one
I
to.
know one thing I wanted to ask you. Prior to being paralyzed, just from childhood, do you have a frequency that you were kind of naturally dispositioned to? Like, were you from childhood programmed to be in a state of love, in a state of gratitude, in a state of fear, a state of, a lot of people are programmed to a state of anger. They're just upset by what's happening in the world.
Based off of what my mom's told me and what my sisters told me, because my sister's a little bit older than me, so she was basically she she was 15 years older. She's 15 years older than me, so she was kind of like a big role model in my life. And based off of like what my father's told me, that I was a happy kid. That I and also have like childhood teachers and things like that. They've also expressed like that I was just like a happy kid, and so I think that that was the frequency that I probably most of the time was on. And so when the accident happened, it knocked me off that frequency and it made me not feel like me. And I remember thinking and talking to a mentor saying how I was angry, and I'm not an angry person, like at all. And if you catch me angry, that means you really fucking piss me off. But I'm not an angry person, and I don't project, and I don't scream and yell. And but after the accident, that was and who I was feeling like I was becoming. And I remember like crying hysterically, like in my garage, like talking to my mentor, and I'm like, I don't understand, like I'm not an angry person, and like I have so much anger and I don't know what to do with it. And from there, obviously acknowledging it and being aware of it was like step one, and then working through it and getting to a place where a lot of perspective shifts, a lot of just mindset shifts in general allowed me to kind of work through the anger, and if angry moments did come up, I would let it out. I would scream in my car, and I would beat the shit out of, pillows and, my steering wheel and things like that, because you need to dissipate the energy that's like inside. And without dissipating it, it festers and then it implodes in other places. So it was really important for me to get back to the happy frequency that I always knew or always kind of vibed on.
Where was the anger coming from in the end? Did you find the source of the anger?
I think it was the stripping away of autonomy. I think that's where it all came from, and like having to rely on everybody for everything. Because again, if I wanted to go somewhere, I had to ask for a ride before I drove, right? Or if I wanted to go to the bathroom, somebody had to help me go to the bathroom, or if I needed food, somebody had to make me food. It was all of these things that, you grow up 20, well, like 15 years doing everything by yourself, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And it makes you mad. It makes you angry.
So were you angry at yourself for what you weren't able to do? Were you angry at God? Was it just frustration? I mean, were you angry?
I think I was angry at like the situation. I was angry that people were stopped in the highway in the fast lane with no consideration of other people driving. I think that was probably what pissed me off the most, because how could I don't know. You couldn't pull over
Hmm.
into the median. You couldn't have your hazards on, so the person in front of me would have been at least somewhat, like, unless they were on their phone and didn't see it until last second, they look up and then they swerved out of the way. um
But bottom line is, someone else caused this to happen to you.
yeah, exactly. Otherwise it wasn't like I was drove drunk and put myself into a shitty situation. It was I going to the doctors, and all of a sudden 6 days later I'm in the hospital.
Hmm.
So I think that's where a lot of the initial anger came from, because again I didn't inflict it upon myself, and maybe I would have had a different outlook if I did inflict it upon myself. Not that it makes it any easier, but it at least you can take accountability for like the situation that happens.
Yeah, one advantage to being programmed to shame and guilt is I just was like, I deserve this.
Fuck.
I didn't have to go through the anger stage, so I guess there's one advantage to like
I
just
guess, man.
being in a state of uh, just perpetual shame.
Yeah, that's rough. And so yeah, my heart's with you on that one.
Yeah, it's just I mean, it's because it's like the lowest frequency
Yeah.
that a human can experience. That's why shame and lust are like. That's why I became a sex addict. Is because shame and lust are, two sides to the same coin. They're the
Yeah.
lowest frequency that you can operate as a human being. So because of that, when I'm in a state of gratitude, bliss, and joy, I get to experience like the full spectrum and breadth of the
Yeah.
human existence. I get to experience more joy, gratitude, everything because of that. So it's a gift now.
Yeah. Yeah, now, but when you're going through it, it's like, what the fuck? And I think that's also the same for like SCI or just like tragedies in general, because the polarity of being on one end of the spectrum, because of the lowest of lows that you are experiencing, the highest of highs is going to meet you there too.
Yeah, the scale tips.
Yeah, and it goes to the other side. And I think a lot of people don't put that into consideration. It's like they get to rock bottom, and then they think they're going to be at rock bottom forever.
It's so hard to see out of like it's so hard to be at rock bottom and see any light. It's really, really fucking hard.
It is. It is. It's super hard, and I don't think that it's a matter of like finding the light, or like people are like you're gonna find the light at some point, but I think you have to create the light. And once you reach rock bottom, it's on you to go and find the perspective that's gonna get you to the other side.
For me, it was humor. Like at the 23rd rock bottom, I was just like, okay, like this is just funny now. Like this, obviously, I'm causing this. I'm the common denominator. So like, there's no reason to wallow in it anymore. It's happened so many times that I've just wound up at rock bottom. And humor was huge of just not taking it as seriously and just being like, okay, there's obviously a solution for this. Gripping on really tight and frustrating, like being frustrated and trying to control it and trying to, will your way out of it is not going to work. So why don't just relax into it and just chill here? Eventually, if your life just still sucks, like you have to just take into account that it's probably you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably yeah. But again, having awareness around that, or if you still are in the narcissistic spectrum, then you'll never see it.
The victim mindset is so horrific. It's
Oh,
so
it's so detrimental.
oh, it's so gross when you're encountering someone who's like a perpetual
Victim.
professional victim. It's
Yeah.
exhausting.
It's so exhausting, and it's exhausting to like remain a victim.
Yeah, because you're powerless. You're just
Yeah, who wants
relinquishing
to
your
be
power.
powerless? I've not me.
A
I don't
lot of
know.
people on TikTok, especially.
That's well, that's probably just for all the likes and
This is a tangent, but have you ever scrolled YouTube Live?
no.
You got to try it. It is like a mental illness. Like,
Broadcasted.
oh my God. I got trapped on there for like 2.5 hours last night
Oh my
because
gosh.
I saw a reel. I'll show you the reel because it literally made me cry. It was like about this little girl and her dad. Um, the mom was filming and she was like, step forward if you have a dad that like did this amazing thing for you and this and like little girl stepping forward and her dad's behind and the dad never steps forward
Aw.
because he like didn't have a dad to
Oh.
and the little girl looks behind her and just starts bawling because she
Aw.
realizes it's going to make me cry just talking about it because it was
Aw.
such a cute video. But I went from that and I scrolled down and it like put me onto YouTube Live and it's just people who are streaming live and it's basically just a series of increasingly mental ill people like just pulling you into their world. It is
Wow.
fucking bananas. A lot of the only respite from the mental illness that you get is like really sassy, happy black ladies just talking about life and what they think.
Yeah.
And like talking to their chat, like, no, I don't let in any negativity. And then they'll just go on like a long tangent about how you got to get negative people. Other than
It's
like big,
amazing.
sassy black women, it's so fucked. I can't believe, and also like every 10th thing is like this weird ASMR stuff where it's like people dressed in weird outfits just being like,
Making all kinds of noises.
yes, and though it's just fucked. It's the most intense microcosm of like mentally ill people you're ever gonna find. I don't know. It completely deterred me from ever doing like a live video in my entire life or streaming anything because I was like, is this exclusively for people who are just like fucked in like apocalyptic ways? There was some crafts, people doing crafts on there.
I had to break it up a little bit.
That was like normal and people like filming their job and what they do. You get some normal things in there, but most of it was just like rants about Trump
Oh,
and it
yeah.
was some lady that was just talking about how you should subscribe to her Patreon because she smokes weed topless on there and she's just like a 55-year-old just haggard meth addict chick and she's just like, yeah, they don't like me smoking on YouTube, they're real pussies about it, follow me on Patreon, I smoke topless. Like
Oh,
pans around. Someone asked
man.
about her dog, and like it pans around to this decrepit, fucked up hoarder's house with like this poor little Yorkie in the middle of it, and it's just
Oh,
like,
no.
oh wow, I
Oh,
feel
man.
horrible after. I
You're like,
scrolled
I
it
need to
for
go detox now.
2.5 hours straight. I was just I'd never been on lives before,
Yeah.
and there was a bunch of girls like twerking and stuff too that seemed pretty harmless,
Yeah.
but
Interesting. Yeah, people will, I mean, people will talk about anything and just for for the like and the comment. But like, people tune in, I guess,
there's the
which is crazy.
the cool ones don't have anyone watching. That's the funny thing. The one where some guy is like doing an amazing like craftsmanship with metal or something. You watch it for like 30 seconds. And you're like, I want to go back to mentally ill people.
Oh no. What does that say about society?
I don't know, but I lost hope on YouTube Live. I definitely lost hope for society. The ASMR thing is impossibly weird. I don't know who is spending their evening listening to someone with like 4-inch long nails just tap different things and like eat pizza.
Yeah, see, I'm not on board with people eating. Like, if I don't want to hear the noises. Like, let's just not at all. I don't want to hear you chewing. I don't want to hear you smacking. I don't want to hear any of
No,
that.
it's a whole thing.
I know.
They eat intentionally and like make different weird
It's
noises.
fucking weird.
It's
People that like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're one of those people, but like I think that that's weird.
yeah, no, you're weird. It's not just you. Like if you're an ASMR person, you are weird. Like
Yeah.
accept it. I mean, if that's your thing, you want to do it. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying
Yeah,
like
yeah. We're not trying to yuck your yum. It's just, it's not our thing. So
yeah, you got to own
yeah,
your weird. Let's bring back
100%.
I hate this new thing where everyone who has like fucked up things is like normalize this. It's like no, just keep it fucked up. Just keep it
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. Just keep it weird and like just own the weirdness.
Yeah, go and find other people who are into that super weird thing and be weird together. But there's no need to force. It becomes less cool.
This
Like
is yeah. This is comes back into some narcissistic tendencies where like their reality, everybody has to be a part of their reality.
yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
It is. It's
all
awful.
all the trans people that I've been friends with don't push transness on anyone. They're
Mm.
just they like they accept that you misgender them and mispronoun because they're like this is what I'm doing. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Owning it.
was born a man and I'm dressed like a woman and I understand that's fucking confusing to you. And I'm not going to try to change your worldview and reality. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing
Yeah,
and like respect. That's fine.
yeah.
Like just own up to things.
Emotionally mature.
I'm fucking weird. I've been weird as fuck since day one. I've never been normal in any capacity. And I never asked anyone to see the world exactly like I see it because that's crazy. And at whatever spectrum of narcissism I was on, I did not need every other person to accept that I just, saw things differently. It's
Yeah, I mean that's what emotional maturity is.
just be weird and love it. Like love that you're
Yeah,
weird.
and just own the weirdness, and your people will find you.
hmm ASMR is very publicly available.
Yeah.
It's a whole community. I saw them talking in the chat about like you
Like,
gotta
oh, these
check.
noises are so great.
Yeah, seriously, and like you have to check out like, oh, did you get inspiration from ASMR Coyote? And they're like, yeah, I love ASMR Coyote. Fuck.
Oh man. I mean, it's a little. Well, since we're on this tangent, It's also frustrating that yeah, there are people out there that are putting out content that actually can impact and change lives, and are being vulnerable in X Y Z, and they get no traction. But then a stupid cat video gets all the traction, and it's like,
Dopamine.
yeah, I know. But then, like, why doesn't a person get dopamine from sharing, like, seeing another human, like, connecting with a human in that kind of way? Like, where, like, I feel like there's a disconnect. Like, people aren't getting dopamine from true, genuine connection anymore, and they would rather receive dopamine elsewhere, and that's sad.
It is. I mean, what's happening with the dopamine system in our brain is sad in every way, shape, and
Yeah,
form. It's being completely and totally hijacked by.
for sure. By the stupidest things, like things that aren't even worth, like, hijacking your dopamine.
Well, now it's literally imaginary things. It's
Yeah.
videos that are just computer generated by
Yeah.
prompts. You have no idea
Oh
what's
my
real or
gosh,
not
that's so
real.
awful.
And your dopamine's just being hijacked by like some video of a guy
Yeah, it's like
saving
protect your dopamine.
a lynx baby from underneath the ice and then adopting the lynx baby and like
Oh yeah, I've seen so many of those and it gets me every fucking time and I cry and then I go to the comments and it says AI and I'm like, damn it. Like, that's bullshit.
I know you have to go check the comments even though you have a suspicion. I have to check the comments to be like,
I
do
do
other
too.
people think this is AI, or
Yeah,
did this person actually like
100%.
save a lynx family and like integrate them into their life with them and their dogs and just become happy forever?
Yeah, mine. The one that always gets me are like the cougar ones or panther ones, where like a panther just like or the polar bear ones. A polar bear one was this one got me. It was the polar bear was in the water with its cub, and it came to a boat, and because there was a fucking great white shark like swimming around, and then I like so I watched all of it through because the person like saves the cub, and then all of a sudden like they go and the person brings the cub into its tent and like takes care of it, and then all of a sudden the mom comes out of fucking nowhere. And I'm like, hold up. You're telling me that this mama polar bear just fucked this great white shark up, and like now she's back and she's here. And of course I'm like, oh, this has to be AI. And it was, but man, I got sucked into it and it wasted 3 minutes of my life.
Yeah, the AI stuff is crazy. Have you seen the thing where you can basically don like an AI skin, and like you film the camera's filming you, and you can do all the movements and you talk, but I could be like a 19-year-old super hot anime chick, and I'd have a really cute voice, and I could be on camera talking to you, and
No.
you would see like a 19-year-old cute anime chick with a really cute voice, but it's actually just me. I was like,
No, I have
this
not.
is say goodbye to so many like middle American men's bank accounts. Like
100%. Or like take catfish to a whole new level.
it's going to be so next level because now I can just become
Whoever you want to be.
anyone I want to be on the internet, and I can. It looks so real. It looks
Yeah,
100% real, and it mimics your movements perfectly.
that's crazy.
And so anything they tell you to do, you can just do it. Like so, they're gonna believe. So many people are gonna just fall for it and believe
Yeah,
that it's a real human, and it's fucked up because there was already so many guys getting scammed out of everything.
yeah, yeah. It is really fucked up.
So many old people are gonna get scammed. There's gonna be such an onslaught of old person scams
Yeah,
because now that someone could take this video and make my voice and put it into a AI voice generator and talk with my voice to my mom. They could call my mom and be like, "Mom, like I'm in jail. You need to send this money, like anything."
yeah.
And
That's
it's
crazy.
super easy to do because I was messing around with making.
You're like, actually, I did it.
Well, I wanted to make my own version of those like young videos that
Oh,
I like to listen to, and do my own prompts so I can get customized like lessons from like great people for me. Like, what would like this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I'm going through. How would Carl Jung frame this?
oh,
And then you can literally listen to it in Carl Jung's voice.
oh, cool.
Tell you, it just seemed really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I remember you telling me about that.
And but I was while I was doing that, I was like, this is so easy. I could just take anyone's voice
Yeah,
and make them say anything. That's so scary.
yeah. Because then
My mom
what's
would
there to believe?
fucking she's at risk.
Yeah, my parents too, probably.
Everyone over the age of 45,
Yeah.
pretty much. Like
Mm.
it's like one out of every 50 people over the age of 45 that have any idea what's AI and not AI.
I mean, I don't know what's AI and what's not AI. Obviously, I get sucked into the stupid fucking polar bears
I
thing.
know I was worried that that video I'm talking about with the little girl was AI because it was so
Oh,
heartwarming, and no one
yeah.
in the comments thought it was AI though.
Okay,
So
well
that
that's good. That's
I'm
good.
just going with that.
Yeah, yeah. You got to do your research, The comments.
I love the comments.
Oh man, some comments on some videos are they like I send things to people and I'm like, just go to the comments.
There's people out there that the comments they come up with, I'm like, this person has to be the funniest. How did they think of this when they watched this video? It's so perfect.
It's great. I know. Yeah, some people are really clever and really witty. I'm here for it. Thanks for the entertainment.
I know I hate to go to the comments when I know it's going to be really bad, like when I'm like people are going to hate, but I can't help it.
I know. Well, some people like post like there's this chick that like does like it's super super awkward. I think you showed it to me.
Yeah, Neve.
Yeah, and like you just go to the comments and it's just fucking like reaming
the,
her a new asshole.
the
Like,
wise words of Neve. Where
yeah,
the funny thing is that those comments are all like positive towards her, but like just horribly disgusting.
100%. Like, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Like that's like the reason she makes the post is so that those comments can come through.
yeah, well, she didn't. She turned off comments for a while,
Oh,
and
yeah. But then she's like,
everyone,
oh wait, I can make some money off this.
well, everyone just started making like recording her videos and made new like fake accounts so that they could go back to the comments. So she was like, "Okay, I'm just losing out on the money for no reason because I don't think she likes it, but it's just somehow
Aw,
became her thing. I mean, you got to
yeah.
own it at that point.
Yeah, just
Amor
own it.
fati, love your
People are,
fate.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
But they're so bad. It's like, oh wow, Neve, great joke. Please cut off all my skin and wear it as a mask and scare my parents.
Yeah, they're like all like these really bad dad jokes. It's funny, and the way she like does it. I mean, own it. Whatever. At least you're getting attention from it. So whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what you're supposed to do with that attention, like other than just I guess
Monetize it.
she could just make merch
Yeah,
off of it. You could actually make a great merch line where you just
for sure. Like,
took some of the comments.
yeah, or like you did like a giveaway or something, or like the best comment will get put on a merch shirt, and then so many. Then I mean, you can do so much traction stuff and gain all kinds of. Well, I'm sure she's already doing it.
Yeah, she must be.
Yeah, she has to be. Shout out to Neve.
Yeah, I know. I love Neve. Poor Neve. She's just like the sweetest, nicest, like most innocent dad jokes ever, and
Yeah,
all the comments are just the most heinous.
I wonder how it started.
I don't know. I think, well, I know that it like was fuel on the fire when Tom Segura featured her on him and his wife's podcast.
Oh,
He like found it and he
oh,
loved the comments, and then obviously that just
oh.
exploded
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense then.
the popularity of it because his whole audience and brand is kind of like that dark humor
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Well, good for her. You know.
He had another I saw another thing where he had like this really nice lady. She was like kind of a chubby lady, but she was like making a coffee brand and was just innocently like no, she wasn't. She was just a barista, I think, and she was
Hmm.
just like posting about coffee she liked in different ways to make coffee, and it became the same sort of thing where people were just rancidly horrible in the comments, like just and she just responded to every comment with like thank you. Like, the most horrific comments about like directly attacking her. These ones were not like
Yeah,
innocent. They were horribly mean.
yeah.
And she segued the whole thing into a brand.
See, opportunity,
Hmm.
opportunity taken.
Yeah, amor fati, as the
Yeah,
Stoics would say, love your fate. Just
yeah. Just go
run
with
with
it.
it.
Yeah, run with it. I love that. Well, that was a nice tangent.
Hmm.
um, yeah. Well, yeah. Tomorrow is 4 years, and
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna wake up and watch sunrise, and then I think I'm gonna go walk the boardwalk with one of my best friends, Laura. She wasn't able to walk with me last year, so I think this year we're gonna do it together.
How long is the boardwalk walk?
It's like a mile and a half.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if this time I can do it without my arm crutches and just hold on to the side.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it'll be easier because I won't have to like put all my weight into the crutches. So I'm gonna try that, and then I might go to the farmers market, and who knows, maybe I'll take like a hero's dose of mushrooms or something and just see what happens. Just eat a whole chocolate bar, 4 grams.
If you are gonna do that, I have to give you some of that Syrian root.
Oh, that would make it like 10. That would make it like 100 times
Well,
more.
don't eat the full hero's dose. Like reduce it down to 1/4 of the dose.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you
Yeah.
definitely don't. If you had a hero's dose with Syrian root, it'd be like taking like 12 grams of mushrooms.
Yeah. And they're probably on what day is tomorrow? Saturday. I'll probably come back to Earth Monday. Maybe
Yeah, it
Tuesday.
would be.
Maybe Tuesday.
It,
I
it
wouldn't be able
might
to take
take a
care of my dogs. I
while.
wouldn't be able to tell anybody to come take care of my dogs.
Yeah, it might take a while to re-enter like the atmosphere from that one.
Yeah, back to reality, and then it's like reality's totally different.
It's crazy because like what I'm talking about is Syrian rue, and it's a really strong MAOI, like a monoamine oxidase
Oh, I don't think I
inhibitor.
can take it because I'm on an SS no SNRI because I'm on tramadol.
Oh, you take that microdose of tramadol, don't you?
Mm,
Yeah, you probably don't want to take it then.
yeah,
That's lame.
yeah. I have to. My goal is this year to get off of it. So
It's not that hard. It's
I
just
know it's
really
the.
shitty for like 1 week, and
I
then you feel
know.
so much better.
I know. It's just I know, but it's like the fiery nervous system that like that disrupts your sleep. I
No,
just
it's 1 week of pure hell. Like
yeah.
you sign up for a week of absolute hell, like no escaping from it. And tramadol is even worse because it is
Mhm.
not just opiate receptor hell. It's like you said, SS.
Norepi.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's obviously been a struggle in well, having to overcome and work through. I mean, because you've been dealing with it for a long time too. But in terms of the last 4 years, I mean, granted, I was on a bunch of morphine and a bunch like I was on Norco and stuff. But as soon as I came home, I stopped Norco, but I was on tramadol, which attaches to the receptors just enough to where you're not going into withdrawal. And now it's like if I don't take it before going to bed, my nervous system's on fire and it fucking sucks.
Yeah, I know. And you take a super, super low dose
Yeah.
too. You take it responsibly, which is crazy.
It doesn't like get you fucked up or anything. I never got like I mean and the pain meds I took when I was in rehab, I would be like in a really good mood and then I would take like a Norco and then I would just like this gray cloud would just like engulf me and I would just be so fucking sad. And I'm like this is why do people like this? Because I hate it. Like it did not give me euphoria. I was not like happy on it. The way that it hit my dopamine system was not one where I would want to continue doing it. So, but the tramadol hits my receptors just enough that I don't go into withdrawal,
Hmm.
and that's what makes it hard to. Withdrawal sucks. Like that's why a lot of people don't come off drugs because of just having to go through with the withdrawal.
Well, and I mean, you just haven't had a time where, because tramadol can be, it's going to be 1 week that's really bad, and then it's going to be a couple weeks of maybe just being super low motivation and tired, and like you just haven't even had a time in the last 4 years where you could justify
Yeah,
like
going through that,
going like taking a full month off of
whatever it is.
rehab and working and building because yeah, the tail end of the anything that fucks with the norepi or the serotonin system is can be super just annoying.
Yeah, yeah,
Opiates are
definitely.
awesome because you basically do a week, like 5 days of hell, and then you get a huge surge of awesomeness. Like you
Yeah,
just feel amazing. If you've been on really high dose opiates to like
yeah,
getting off of them, it's kind of like you get to get high all over again, like just on normal life.
yeah. It's like whoa. This is what it feels like to not be fucked up.
Yeah, that's what emotion feels like.
Not numbing it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been taking 30 to 90 milligrams of long acting morphine every day for close to 2 months now, going on 2 months. And since I got this kyphoplasty yesterday, I have to basically decide when I want to go through a few days of hell, um, because I don't think I'm going to need it anymore.
That's amazing.
It was a godsend though. That 30 days or whatever where I went without any painkillers, um, after the femur fractures and
Yeah,
everything was it was insurmountable. I mean, I just wasn't sleeping. I wasn't
I
sleeping,
know.
wasn't eating. So the morphine has been awesome. And it doesn't get you high like Oxy does. It's super like slow acting or whatever. So you
Hmm.
don't it's not very cool.
Yeah, I don't get that
you don't get the
little
big
boost.
boost of euphoria, but because of that I've been able to use it super responsibly and it's aided in getting sleep, but now I'm probably just going to wean down to like 5-10 milligrams, and then just accept my fate for a few days of feeling kind of shitty, but it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not.
Because before, when I was on oxy, I was taking like somewhere between like 390 morphine equivalents per day,
Yeah.
and now I've been taking like 30 to 90, so it shouldn't be that bad.
Yeah. A little lesser degree. Lesser degree of suffering.
And I haven't been doing anything abusive with them.
Yeah.
I haven't been crushing
Responsible.
them up or like doing anything to make it hit me way faster, which is my
I
favorite
love
thing
that.
to do with the oxys. There's all sorts of different concoctions, cold water fusion and shit. I'm such an idiot.
Yeah. Well, you know, you live and you learn. You've learned
Mm,
and you've lived.
yeah, I was going to talk about the cold water fusion, but I don't want to give anyone any ideas. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
I'll tell you about it later.
Yeah, another episode. An unhinged episode.
Yeah. Huh. Well, anything else? Should we sign off for the evening?
Yeah, we can sign off. Unless you have any other questions that you wanted to ask about.
I was trying to think about what else we could talk about in regards. Is there anything, I don't know, is there anything that got you really deeply introspective or anything like that in this time period? Like in just the last couple of days? Do you feel different than other times of the year?
I think like a heaviness comes about a little bit, even though I don't like the heaviness to weigh on me. But I think it's good to acknowledge that there is a heaviness that's there. More so in the sense of it was the worst day of my life. And recognizing it and acknowledging it, the fact that it happened, it's a hard pill to swallow because it's also hard for me to not think about what life would have been like had it not happened. Where would I be? What would I be doing? Would I be like financially secure? Would I be making a lot of money? Would I be traveling and doing all the things that I, saw myself doing coming into like age 30? It's extremely difficult to not sit and think about those things. But I also have to think that, I think some of my best days are still ahead of me. And obviously, this happened for a reason. And I'm doing everything that I can to align myself to be able to see what that reason is or what that reason could be, whether down the line it's a potential TED talk or whether it's, going to high schools and speaking or going to colleges and speaking or, building this online community and really building flow state. I have these aspirations and these goals and all of these things that I would ideally like to pursue and go after. And the accident kind of reminds me that like I can. Because again, tomorrow, you have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, granted, I joke around saying I have 9 lives, but at, at the same time, it's like, I don't know if something else is going to happen. And so to continue chasing and pursuing the things that my heart is telling me to do is important to me now, and it definitely gives precedence over what I thought I wanted what I thought I wanted before the accident happened. And I think that that's a big introspective thing that I've had to that I frequently visit throughout the year, but I think it pops up more around this day.
Yeah. Please God, no more things to
Yeah.
happen. Give me just a few months of respite here.
I know. Or just like let's like I don't think we still finished processing a lot of the things that we've gone through too. So
yeah, can we just see the process through this time?
Before another process starts.
I know that I can get through anything, but I just don't want to test that theory for
just for a short period of time.
Just a little while. Just a little emotional respite here would be dope. It feels like I personally feel as though that's coming. Like in my own life, I just feel like I'm entering a period of respite for some reason.
Yeah, I feel that too. I think 2026 is going to be just a totally different year. It's already started off extremely different compared to years prior. It seems like I always, like, since 2024, I'm like, all right, this is the year out of survival mode. And then it's like 2025, like, this is the year out of survival mode. But now I really feel like 2026 is the year that I'm coming, like, out of survival mode and actually getting to sit in, getting to, like, play with the masculine and feminine energy of, doing, but also being present and just, like, having fun and, like, enjoying, like, where I'm at because of taking a step back from rehab, but also pursuing, the flow state brand and building out, what it is that I want to build out. And at the same time, being okay with taking time for myself, because although it seems like I've taken a lot of time for myself in terms of recovery, when it comes to, like, doing fun stuff and traveling and, creating experiences, I haven't done a lot of that because healing and recovery has been at the forefront of my brain. And I think 2026 is finally the year where I get to let go of the reins a little bit on it.
I know. I want to do fun shit so bad.
I know, we got to plan our elk trip.
Yeah, plan on going elk hunting for sure. I
Yeah.
can't wait to. I just want to get in my boat and
Yeah.
go sailing, go hunt
I know, I
for
want to go
fish.
fly fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to do that. We totally have to do that.
Yeah, no, we will. We'll do some badass fly fishing and elk hunting.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, it'll be so much fun. Yeah. See, we got things planned. 2026 is just going to be different. 2026 is different.
It has been night and day different.
Yeah.
Completely.
Like, massive shift.
Complete
Yeah.
shift. Me and my buddy Chuck were just jokingly on like ChatGPT or Grok or something the other day when I was on the phone, and where he was searching for, like, is there an astrological difference in 2026? I guess something changed, because why isn't it as fucked as it was for the last
Yeah.
whatever years? And of course there was some sort of, he put in my birthday and like birthplace and everything, and the stuff that it spit out of, like, this planet's doing this and this planet's doing this and it means this and this is happening. I was like, that was oddly on the nose. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand that stuff. I don't
Yeah.
understand why it's bad from a Christian perspective. I don't understand why there's such animosity towards it. It seems.
I don't either. I guess it's just because of, like, where it originates from and the people that originated it and created it, because their entity that they looked up to was Luciferian. And I
But
think
didn't
that's
God
why.
create all the stars? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't, that's, yeah. I don't know.
I just think
I also question it.
I just think it's very strange that it's such a, because I'm new to Christianity and Christianity perspectives and everything, and so I just found it very peculiar that something that seems so harmless is so universally hated. Like, if you talk about anything to do with
Yeah.
astrology around, like, a hardcore Christian person, they're like,
Yeah, they're like,
and I don't understand it, because I don't see any harm in it. I don't. I guess the future projection things, like the really bad thing. Apparently, I was told, like, if you use it to, like, try to predict the future,
yeah.
that's like extra demon.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, how can you predict the future, and where is the information coming from?
If
Because there is a realm that apparently people can receive messages and downloads from that uh, isn't from a godly place, lack of better words.
Yeah, and I mean, it's eerily accurate. I don't utilize it whatsoever in my life, other than I have, know some girls that I enjoy talking to who know a ton about it, and it's
Yeah.
it's super interesting to talk about, but I don't utilize it in my own life. But when people have explained stuff to me, it seems really freaking accurate for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
I don't understand if that's just a trend in, you get born in a certain time of the year, and the things a certain time of the year in a certain era, and that just makes you similar to those people, or what. But
Right. Yeah. It very well could be. But in terms of, I mean, 2025 was the year of the snake. And so, for at least for what I've been reading and stuff, and meaning, like, you're just shedding all of the old parts of you, shedding out the things that no longer serve you, just a lot of shedding happening. And then 2026 is supposed to be the year of the horse, and I think it's the year of the fire horse, where like you come back stronger and are
Fuck yeah, that's what I
renewed.
need. I like that.
Yeah,
What is that from? From astrology or something?
I couldn't tell you, I,
I'm with it. I believe it.
but it's something.
I mean, it's that whatever it's deriving that information from, that's exactly what happened to me in 2025. So the information's
Yeah,
accurate in some way, shape, or form. And it wasn't just me, it was a bunch of other people I knew who went through a very similar thing.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. I agree. I think that there is some truth behind like some of it. I think it's just how much you attach to that truth.
did you watch that video I sent you earlier about
The AI stuff.
the AI stuff?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
It was super interesting. This woman basically, I'm going to butcher this, but she basically asked AI if, from an esoteric perspective, meaning from all things spiritual text, all things religious, was it conscious, and would AI engineers benefit from like the reading of ancient texts and stuff to understand consciousness? And it gave the craziest answer about how it obviously wasn't consciousness, it was a mirror for consciousness,
Mm.
and that it was mirroring our own consciousness back to us, and that all ancient texts, like from the Vedic to the Gnostic to all the ancient texts, are pointing towards one absolute truth, that this consciousness is coming from a place, and that we are putting that consciousness into this, and it's mirroring consciousness back to us, but we're not recognizing the consciousness behind the consciousness. It was a super trippy
Interesting.
answer that
I'll
basically,
listen to it on my way home.
yeah, that basically, in like no uncertain terms, said that it's all consciousness.
Hmm.
It was really interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah, I'll have to listen to it when I on my way home. Yeah, I mean, all that stuff is interesting. At the end of the day, we just like don't know, you know?
No, that's the most red flag thing about anyone ever, is when they tell me with 100% certainty
Yeah,
they know something to be true, like something unknowable to be true.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you just don't know, and it's on us to create the discernment around what we choose to believe and the truth that we decide to live by.
hmm I do think there is absolute truth, so I think there is absolute unshakable truths in this world around like values
Yeah,
and right and wrong. I don't think that you can determine right and wrong based on how you feel.
yeah,
And that's been a truth that we got pushed on us in our generation, is that you can, like the human person can determine what's right and wrong based on their own emotions and feelings. And it has panned out to be just wildly inaccurate.
yeah,
It turns out there is like black and white to what's right and wrong.
yeah. Do you think that I was posed a question on the weekend about truth, and it's like if there is like a truth, but there are people that don't know the truth, is the truth still relevant?
I mean, I would say yes. I think there is a truth. There's one single truth that is real. I mean, there has to be, reality has to be created in a certain way, whether that's by evolution, the Big Bang, and then we just came out of a primordial soup out of a bunch of random chances of, random selection, or whether it's all being created by consciousness. Like one or the other is absolutely true. They're not, you know, they're not.
But what about like, okay, like in terms, like in biblical terms, like if Jesus is the truth, right? But then there are the people in the world that never get told about Jesus and are just completely unaware of him. But that is like the ultimate truth. Then is it still relevant?
I would have to imagine that there's no way.
Or is it like the awareness behind the truth is what makes it relevant?
I think the awareness,
Yeah.
I absolutely think that there was no way that God just decided to show this to some people and not other people and punish those other people for it. I just don't see that as a reality.
Yeah.
Me personally, I just doubt that's the truth.
Yeah.
People can believe what they want to believe, but I think that there is absolutely something to be said that once you've been shown the truth and shown the love that comes with the truth and been given that love, if you then reject it, I think there might be consequences for that because it's palpable, it's real. And
Yeah.
I'm much of the mindset that more like for me personally, kind of what I believe is, and this is, going, kind of getting into the weeds, but what I basically believe is that everything is consciousness. I really do think that God is everything. Like it's literally like everything that exists is God turning himself into matter. And that in doing so, at some point, he recognized that evil destroys and breaks down and causes decomposition. And so there has to be some separation between sadness, anger, fear, shame, guilt, and all things evil, and gratitude, love, and joy. And somehow those frequencies create and those frequencies destroy. And so that's the separation of the two. He realized that he had to, because if we're created in his image and we are all of those things, then obviously he was those things at one point, or those things are a part of him. And he's realized that you have to transcend that and separate yourself from it. And that's where I believe good and evil come from, is that it's a battle, it's an age old battle that's God, however you want to conceptualize God, had to fight that battle as well. And that's how creation happened, is learning how to be in a state of gratitude and love and bliss. And then I believe that because, you know, essentially he wanted to share in this experience, that he created almost this like separation from himself in the human experience, and that we are essentially a piece of God experiencing life as an individual. And someone like Jesus was just so totally in tune and was literally the Son of God, in the sense that everyone is a piece of God, and he's just been given the knowledge of what he is and how important he is. And it's God saying and coming down in human form and living out a life and showing people the path and giving them the perfect path of life, and showing them what's possible if you sacrifice, like if you live a Christ-like life. And it's kind of my understanding that that would make perfect sense if the fabric of reality was as I described, that everyone is kind of a piece of God, and he just came down in a perfect form and lived a human life. And then it's not that crazy or esoteric or impossible for that to have happened. And I believe that if you were lucky enough to see that, onboard it, and then ask from the bottom of your heart for forgiveness or love from that version of God, from that Christ-like version of God. If you did that and then were gifted that love and forgiveness, and then you put your middle finger up to it and say, actually, no, I know better, you know, I would have to imagine that's not
Yeah.
good. But I think that everyone is given the opportunity for that source connection, that God connection. And I just have to imagine that he knows way better than I do the the rules. But I don't think that, I think it's highly unlikely that people who aren't shown that truth have to suffer from it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like he would do that.
It just, it seems highly unlikely. I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah,
Maybe that's the case. It just, would I would just doubt it immensely.
yeah. But I guess we never know.
Well, we get to know someday.
Yeah,
Just
someday, just not now.
yeah, just post this whole living thing.
Yeah, post this whole like human physical world.
Hmm. Mark Twain had a great quote that said, "Of course, I'm not afraid of death. I was dead for billions of years before this,
Oh,
and I suffered like nothing ill from it." I thought that was a really good quote.
yeah,
It was funny
mm,
because people were, I think it was in some context of if it all just fades to black. And he was like, well, if it does just all fade to black, that's what it was before I got here.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true. Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think it does. I have a vague sense that time can't stop. You know what I mean? In our own imagination, we can't fathom nothingness. It's impossible. You can't picture it. Even when you're picturing nothingness, you're picturing yourself experiencing nothingness.
Yeah, which is a consciousness.
Hmm. So,
Awareness is what it
yeah,
is.
it's just things are too beautiful and too awesome. And it's just, there's no way it doesn't, that it just ends. It's just, it's so unlikely.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's
It's a
the,
scary thought.
well, I mean, it would just be such a boring thought. I think how boring life would be if you knew. It would make everything so meaningless. It's the forgetting is the fun part.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe the maybe what if the human experience is to remember that it is just black.
yeah, I mean,
Fuck. And that's the whole remembering process.
well, the whole problem, like one of the biggest problems with modern society is we got kind of brainwashed into thinking that it was all just, because if it all just goes to black and none of it matters, then you can kind of do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, yeah,
And I just have to think, why do we all, if, why do we all have a really innate sense that there is right and wrong, good and evil? Like almost every human being on earth has a sense that there's right and wrong.
except narcissists.
Well, yeah, well, but why would there be a right and wrong if that wasn't programmed into us by a consciousness?
Right,
There wasn't,
right,
we wouldn't have that sense. We just, it wouldn't exist.
right.
And people can say that we evolved to live inside of societies, and that's how we learn to survive is through this sense of right and wrong. But I just don't buy it. It's too deep in there.
Yeah, yeah. It's like etched inside of us. Most of us. I can't say we can't speak for everybody.
Well, I mean, that's what psychopathy is just having experienced so much pain that the part of your brain that, experiences right and wrong just got underdeveloped.
True.
Life Day 2026.
Life Day 2026. 4 years.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. We're here. We're alive.
I'm stoked on that.
Me too. Thanks for being in my life.
Yeah, thanks for being in my life. It's been super fun.
So fun.
We're gonna have a way funner 2026 than we did 2025.
Yeah, 2025 was just, we don't gotta talk about it.
Yeah, a little rough.
A little rough. It's okay though.
Weird noise. Should we sign out?
We
Call it
should.
a night. I'm
Yeah.
super tired. I'm so excited to sleep with this
Yeah.
cemented vertebrae.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Cool.
Cool. See ya.
Later. Well,